Hello, everyone. My name is Robin Krallman from the Illinois Department of Commerce, Office of Employment and Training. Welcome to this presentation, which has been created for employees whose layoff date is pending or for those employees already laid off. This presentation is designed to assist you in accessing information and also provides important resources and links to services. As you can see on the screen, the four agencies listed on the agenda are combining today to bring you information on benefits you will be eligible to apply for as a dislocated worker. They'll be presenting in the order you see on the agenda. These benefits are available to you and have already been paid for with your own tax dollars. There is one benefit, however, that your employer pays for, and this is your unemployment insurance benefit. You will receive more information regarding this benefit a little later in this presentation. Let me share a little bit about the law that governs workforce benefits. It's called the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, or WIOA for short. It's called an act because it's an act of Congress, and that just means it's a law. WIOA provides services for adults, youth, dislocated workers, and spouses of dislocated workers. So what is a dislocated worker? A dislocated worker is an employee who will be laid off or has already been laid off through no fault of his or her own. Once you reach your official separation date from your company, which will be your last official day of work, you will become a dislocated worker. Eligibility for services will then be determined by the expert folks that are going to be speaking with you in just a minute. I want to point out that you have a window of eligibility starting with your separation date and extending to your next hire date at your next job. During this time, you can utilize WIOA services, which may include training, for example. Training means the opportunity to return to school at no cost to you in order to learn a new skill and obtain credentials to assist you in finding new employment to help you meet your personal and financial needs. Other options, such as work-based learning opportunities, are also available. The next presenter will talk more about work-based learning options, and together we will work towards a plan that supports your personal reemployment goals. So there's a common theme today, and that is you're not alone in facing this challenge. We encourage you to connect with us right away in order to learn more about the services and how to access your benefits. We are here to support you, but you have to take the first step, make the first call, and you will be on your way to discovering all of the benefits waiting for you as a dislocated worker. You will want to write down the link at the bottom of the screen that will lead you directly back to this Illinois workNet page that's been specifically designed for your company. This link provides a number of resources to help you on your journey to reemployment. Thank you for your time today. And on behalf of the Department of Commerce, I want to extend my best wishes as you continue on your journey to reemployment. The next presenter from your local workforce area will provide information on how to access dislocated worker services and benefits. And now, here's your next presenter.
Thank you, Robin. My name is Cindy Lehman, and I'm with St. Clair County Intergovernmental Grants Department Workforce Development Group. Please don't be misled by the name. We represent the public workforce system for St. Clair County and also Clinton, Monroe, Randolph, and Washington counties in Illinois. I'm going to be speaking to the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act and the programs and services that are available to you when you are dislocated from your job, and in some cases prior to dislocation. You may wonder how we got connected to you. We work closely with the state of Illinois and all companies. Depending on the size of the company in our workforce area, they are obligated to advise us when there is going to be a layoff of manpower. This will then trigger rapid response services and why we are providing this webinar. This webinar is to let you know that first and foremost, you are not alone in the process of moving forward, and we want to provide as much information so you can make an informed decision about accessing services and resources to get to your next job as quickly as possible. We also want to provide information about services and resources that will help make this time as least stressful as possible. For some of you, this might be just what you needed to realize your dream job. For some, you may be growing into bigger and better opportunities. Or maybe you'll just be preparing yourself to stay competitive in the global economy and see yourself through to retirement. The services and resources to prepare job seekers for and help connect to career opportunities are provided through 5 of our American Job Centers. That is the national brand for the United States. Again, this is a federally funded program, so these services are available in every state. Offices are typically open Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. In these offices, you can conduct your own self-guided job search using computers that are connected to the internet and will allow you to print job search related information. We strongly encourage you to take advantage of websites like Illinois WorkNet and Illinois JobLink. We'll tell you more about Illinois JobLink later in the presentation. Throughout the month, you can take advantage of workshops that can assist you with developing or updating a resume, brushing up on or learning new interviewing techniques, and other topics that are of interest to job seekers. For example, how to apply for state or federal jobs. You can access workforce services immediately if you have the time during the week. Depending on your schedule or shift, you can go into an American Job Center. Earlier, Robin mentioned training. The WIOA program provides the opportunity for someone to receive training at no cost to help make them more marketable. What that may mean is someone could go to school for no more than 2 years to obtain a certification or an associate degree or complete a bachelor degree that is already in progress. The funds are grant dollars, so they don't have to be paid back, and they are paid directly to the training provider to cover the cost of tuition, books, and fees that are associated with training or education. This can be beneficial if you've been working in a particular employment sector or have been in a particular occupation for many years and are thinking of making a change. That is something that we can help you do. So we do highly encourage you to tap into these programs and services that are going to help bridge you to your next position. Maybe you're thinking that you don't want to go back to school, or just that you need to get back to work as quickly as possible. There are other options for training to assist you. Those options are referred to as work-based learning. 2 possibilities are on-the-job training, or OJT, and apprenticeships. They both have a lot of similarities. With OJT, the employer has the opportunity to hire first. It's designed to allow the employer to train a person to their particular needs and is asking the employer to consider someone who doesn't have all the skills and qualifications they were initially seeking. With OJT, the participant is being trained on skills that they didn't have previously, and the participant is receiving a paycheck on the same day as everyone else. The employer can be reimbursed a portion of that participant's salary for a contracted time frame to compensate for taking the time and resources to train the person. The expectation is that the participant remains a permanent full-time employee when the contract expires. If an employer is not able to provide all the training necessary, but there are classes available through a WIOA-approved provider, the WIOA program can also pay for the cost of those class or classes. Usually when the word apprenticeship is used, everyone starts thinking of trade occupations like plumbers, electricians, and so on. Not anymore. Most occupations can be and have been made into apprenticeships. There are currently apprenticeships that we are directly involved with for childcare, process technicians, certified medical assistants, and more. An apprenticeship combines on-the-job learning with related training instruction, meaning education. The related training instruction can be provided by a school before the workday or after. It could also be provided by the employer during work hours. Then, after the required number of hours of on-the-job learning are also completed, a person could be designated a journeyman level worker in that occupation. At the completion of the apprenticeship, the Department of Labor will issue a nationally recognized certificate indicating this. Apprenticeships are typically 2 years or 4 years, but there are some exceptions. If you just aren't sure where you want to go from here, don't worry. That is more common than you think. There will be a career planner working beside you to help make suggestions, provide information, and be a general guide throughout the whole process. I would also like to add at this point, if you have received a letter of separation from your employer, you want to hold on to it. What that does is it validates the layoff, so it helps us with the paperwork to enroll you in the WIOA program as a dislocated worker. There may be other services or resources that may request you to provide the letter as well. If you have a spouse that has been primarily taking care of the home and family, but as a result of your layoff needs to find employment, we can assist them in the same manner as you. They just need to come to our office and avail themselves of the services. Please know that we are here to take very good care of you and get you beyond this layoff as soon as possible. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time and attention.
then you can receive your benefit. So normal retirement age is 65. An employer, a pension plan may allow you to take a pension at an earlier date, like 62, but usually you would be penalized 6% for every year before you turn 65. So just think about that. This only applies to pension plans. In regards to your 401k plan, you have 4 options. You can get a lump sum distribution and pay the taxes. You can roll it over into an IRA. You can keep your account where it is. And then sometimes a new employer will allow you to roll over your account into their account, but it's only if the new employer allows it. I strongly recommend that you roll it over into an IRA so that you'll know where your money is. You won't have to worry about the market or anything like that. And then if you have any other questions, this is our contact information. It's contact information from EPSA for EBSA, our website, and then the marketplace, healthcare.gov, and then the phone numbers there. I wish you the best of luck, and thank you for listening to me.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan. I'm with the Illinois Department of Employment Security. Here to talk to you a little bit about the unemployment insurance. The first thing to know is that unemployment insurance is administered by the state of Illinois. It's based on taxes that the employers pay. So as an employee, you have not paid into the unemployment insurance system. That's an important distinction. Unlike some of the programs that you've just heard about, those were all taxpayer-funded programs. So we certainly highly encourage you to take advantage of those. You've paid for those with your tax dollars. When you go back to work, you're going to continue to pay for those with your tax dollars. So by all means, take advantage of those. And then, of course, the unemployment insurance benefit is something you should take advantage of as well. Just know that that is not something that you've paid into with your taxes. Let's see here. My next slide, there we go. In order to receive unemployment insurance benefits, there are what are called non-monetary and monetary eligibility requirements. So the first non-monetary eligibility requirement that you should be aware of is that you must be involuntarily unemployed or underemployed. Regardless, what is important to know is that you must be involuntarily unemployed. So if you were to leave your job before your employer releases you, then you're no longer involuntarily unemployed. If you were to be fired for cause before then, you're no longer involuntarily unemployed. So be sure to pay close attention to that. With regard to the eligibility requirements, it shows there on the screen, you must have earned $1,600 in a quarter, and then an additional $440 in a separate quarter. So basically for 2019, if you're going to be filing next week, there's a crossover period right now, but let's assume you file next week or the week after. We're going to be looking at your 2019 income, and during one 3-month period you must have earned $1,600, and during another 3-month period you must have earned $440. It says right there what every worker should know about unemployment insurance. There is a handout available to you electronically that covers the eligibility requirements, so that will be on your company page as well. Oop, went a little too fast there. There are different amounts that individuals receive for their unemployment insurance benefit based on their prior earnings. So again, we're looking at your base period and those quarters, and there's a lot of details and information regarding that. But the important thing to know is that there are minimums and maximums, and that's for your individual, what's called a weekly benefit amount. There's also something called a dependent allowance. You're allowed a single dependent allowance, either 1 month or 2 months, and then an additional $440 a non-working spouse or a child under the age of 18. And it is a single dependent, so even if you had 3 or 4 or 10 children, you're only allowed a single dependent allowance for your child. And they typically recommend that when you're filing your claim, you would put the information in for your youngest child because they will obviously age out last. So if you were to put your oldest child and then file another claim in 3 years, and that child was no longer 18, you would have lost that benefit, and you would need to put in another child at that point. So just pay attention to that. Unemployment insurance benefits are for 26 weeks. Now, I should say with the maximum benefit amounts and this 26 weeks, there is a lot of conversation regarding federal stimulus, and I'm going to postpone any discussion of that. Right now, we're talking about the standard law as it applies. So typically, the maximum is 26 weeks of unemployment insurance in a given 1-year period. So for more information, in the middle of this screen, it gives the website. So this is for the Illinois Department of Employment Security, www.ides.illinois.gov. And that is the place you should go for the most current information regarding not only your claims in a general sense, but also anything as it relates to federal stimulus or COVID-19. There are announcements up there with regard to additional monies and things like that. So I'd have to refer you to any of those because the information is changing fairly rapidly and being updated. So I want you to be sure of that. So and that is also where you would file for unemployment online at that website. You can also, in normal circumstances, come into the local office and we will assist you filing online there. But of course, our offices are closed during this period. So the alternative would be to call Claimant Services at 1-800-244-5631. Now, when you should file. You file your unemployment claim during your first week of being unemployed. So another way to look at it would just be to file it after your first day of separation. So if you're still employed, you are not allowed to file yet, but if today was your last day, then you could file tomorrow, and you want to do that as soon as possible. During this period of high volume of unemployment claims, Illinois has implemented a schedule based on the first letter of your last name. So depending on whether you're filing online or over the phone, we're asking you to follow the schedule. Again, this presentation is recorded, but this schedule is also available when you go to the IDES website. So here's an image of the IDES website. You'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, there is a orange box that says sign in to my account and a drop-down menu that says select one. And you would simply select that you are filing a claim. It's the first option, file my unemployment insurance claim. And again, this same website, right on the splash screen, they give all the information on COVID-19 updates. Before you file, though, you will need to collect and gather up some information. So we need to do a verification of your Social Security number and your driver's license or other state ID. When you are entering that information in, it asks you whether you're using a state ID or your driver's license. And then you need to enter in the information exactly as it appears if you've selected driver's license, then exactly as it appears in your driver's license. They actually do a confirmation with the Secretary of State. So, if your weight has changed, That's not what we're interested in. We're interested in the weight as it's listed on that piece of identification. And if you put anything else in, it's going to fail the verification test. So please be sure to enter that information correctly. You'll want to gather up the names, addresses, phone numbers, and amounts of times that you worked for any employer over the last 18 months, any pension or retirement payments that you're receiving, not including Social Security. And if you would like to be paid via direct deposit, you will also want to have your bank routing, bank account number and the routing number so that you can enter that information at the end of the claim. I mentioned that you're allowed a dependent allowance if you have a non-working spouse or a child under the age of 18. So you'll want their information, including a Social Security number, if you're going to be claiming a dependent. So after you file for that unemployment claim, you're going to want to go to illinoisjoblink.com and complete registration. And what that means is that you will need to activate a resume on that website. When you file your unemployment insurance claim, it's going to create an account in Illinois JobLink for you, typically. The very last screen of your claim, of your unemployment insurance claim, again, this is when you're on the IDES website, it will give you a confirmation number. It'll give you your UI, that's unemployment insurance claimant identification number. And then it will also give you your Illinois JobLink user ID. And again, that's a different website. So then you would go to illinoisjoblink.com and enter in that user ID. If this is your first time filing, the password will be your Social Security number. And then it'll have you update that the first time you log in. If you've filed before and have an existing Illinois JobLink account, it's going to request that you have that same password that you used however long ago it was. If you don't know that, you'll need to contact the Illinois JobLink help desk, and they'll be able to reset or assist you in resetting your password. Once that is completed, and again, you will want to complete that within about a week, or as quickly as possible. You will also be receiving in the mail a UI finding letter. So all the information that you're going to receive from the Illinois Department of Employment Security is going to come via mail first, and they are all considered legal documents. So please don't just let those pile up in your junk mail. Open them, read them, and understand them as soon as you receive them. Your UI finding letter is a very important piece of information. It's going to include a summary of the wages that we see being attributed to you over the last 18 months, essentially, in your base period. And based on those, we're going to also show and report your weekly benefit amount, including any dependent allowance you're going to have, and then your maximum benefit amount, which is a balance, essentially. What they're going to do is take that weekly benefit amount, not including the dependent allowance, just your weekly benefit amount, multiply that by 26, and that's going to be your balance. It's also going to include a certification date. Again, I'll cover certifying in just a moment, but you do that every 2 weeks while you're on unemployment insurance benefits. And it will include a statement as to whether or not you've elected to receive your money via direct deposit. If you have not elected to receive your money via direct deposit, you will receive it via a debit card. So when you file for unemployment insurance benefits, it will provide you with a debit card in the mail, and you'll need to activate that, and then your money would be deposited there. We do not mail out checks any longer. So then you will also be responsible for recording your work search. So I'll show a little bit about that now. Through illinoisjoblink.com, again, you will be posting an active resume, and that will complete your registration. This is an image of Illinois JobLink. again, it's a different website than IDES. In the upper right-hand corner, that is the login button. Be sure not to create an additional Illinois JobLink account. There can only be one with your Social Security number. So it will prevent you from creating another one with your Social Security number. However, there is an option to create one without a Social Security number because this is free to use for anyone in the state. You don't have to be an unemployment claimant. But if you are, the unemployment system is going to check Illinois JobLink based on your Social Security number to make sure you have that active resume. And if it doesn't see it in that account, you will not get paid. So again, you're required to keep a record of your work search. If you look for jobs in Illinois JobLink, while logged in, of course, it will keep a record of your work search for you. Of course, it's only going to keep a record of things that you've done while in Illinois JobLink. It will not keep a record of interviews or phone conversations or emails outside of Illinois JobLink, but you can manually enter those into Illinois JobLink or use the IDES work search form. So you can see on the screen here, on the left, there is an official IDES work search form. You can get those on the IDES website and print them out. You can fill that out online, or again, when our offices reopen, you can stop in and we can provide you with paper copies of that. Or on the right side of your screen, there is Illinois JobLink, and it keeps track of any job search activity you do within Illinois JobLink. Either record is acceptable. You are required to keep those records for up to 53 weeks. And if you're audited, you'd be required to fax in that information. Otherwise, you may be required to pay back your unemployment payments. I had mentioned that your UI finding letter, again, it will have your first certification date listed on there, and it will tell you whether that certification day is a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Everyone is assigned a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday to certify. Certifying is the act of getting back in touch with the state of Illinois and answering about 10 or 11 questions based on the prior 2 weeks. It's essentially the way we determine whether or not you're eligible to be paid for that 2-week period. So this is different than the high volume claim filing that I mentioned earlier. This is a process that everyone needs to participate in every 2 weeks, and you're again going to be assigned a Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday. You are paid about 48 hours after you do your certification. So if your certification day is a Monday, you're always a Monday. You're not eligible to do it on Tuesday or Wednesday. It will reject your certification if you try. But if you do it on Monday, then you will be paid typically on Wednesday unless there's a holiday. Again, same if you're a Wednesday. If you're a Wednesday, it will not allow you to do it on Monday or Tuesday. You have to do it on Wednesday. Fortunately, Thursdays and Fridays are makeup days. The downside is, of course, that you would not be paid until the next week because of the waiting 48 hours. When you do certify for benefits, you can either do it on the IDES website or by calling an automated phone system called Teleserve. And if you have access to a computer, doing it online on the IDES website is much easier. You'll use the same username and password that you use to file your claim. But if you don't have access, you can obviously utilize the Teleserve, and instructions on those both systems are in the handouts, the electronic handouts that we've provided that will be up on the company page as well. In normal circumstances, you are not paid for your first week of your claim. It's called a waiting week. So it actually takes, the first time you certify, you're certifying for 2 weeks, but you're only paid for 1. It's not any money you've lost. You still have your full 26 weeks of benefits. It's just that first week is not paid out. At this time, it appears as though that's going to be waived as part of the federal stimulus package. But again, I'll defer to the IDES website for more information on that. I mentioned already the best ways to certify. If you have questions regarding any of these processes, you can contact the IDES Claimant Services at 1-800-244-5631. Wait times currently are very high due to the number of people filing for unemployment at this time. But just know that you can contact them and they will assist you. So I mentioned a couple of things to recap. To be eligible for unemployment insurance benefits, you must be involuntarily unemployed. When you certify, I had mentioned that there's going to be about 10 or 11 questions they're going to ask. The three of the most important questions are you able, available, and actively seeking work? So unemployment insurance payments are not sick pay. So if you are not able to work, you are not able to receive your unemployment insurance payment for that day or week or whatever period of time you're unable to work. You know, if you were in the hospital, unfortunately, with a broken leg, you could still look for a job, of course. You could even conduct a phone interview from your hospital bed, but unfortunately, you're not able to work, and so you would be ineligible to be paid for that day. Once again, COVID-19, there are exceptions carved out for COVID-19 illnesses. Illinois unemployment insurance benefits are not vacation pay. So if you are unavailable, if you're not within a commuting distance of your home, you would not be paid for that day or that week or that month or whatever period you're not at your home. The able and available are not penalties. You don't lose that money. They stay in your balance and they're available to you later. The final of the 3 A's is actively seeking work. You must be actively seeking work. I mentioned you can either record your work search via Illinois Job Link or on an IDES work search form. That's a yes or no question. If you answer yes, you receive your payment. If you answer no, you do not. But again, if you answer yes, you must have that record. I must stress again that you want to have an active resume on Illinois Job Link before you begin your certification. So make sure you do that within about 7 days of filing for your unemployment insurance benefits. The waiting week is part of the standard unemployment insurance law in Illinois, but again, there are exceptions that are occurring at this point. One last thing, you are eligible to work part-time and still receive your unemployment insurance benefits without deduction, as long as you earn less than 50% of your weekly benefit amount. Again, this is your weekly benefit amount, not your dependent allowance, not the total, just your weekly benefit amount. So if, for example, your weekly benefit amount was $200, you could earn $100 working part-time and still receive your full $200 weekly benefit amount. If you earned more than your than 50% of your weekly benefit amount, 1 week, maybe you earned $120. You went $20 over that hypothetical $200, so that week you would only receive $180 in your weekly benefit amount. You did not lose that $20, it stays in your balance. So it's always to your benefit if you choose to work part-time. So again, I want to stress that everything that IDES sends you through the mail is a legal document, so please take care to read each piece of mail. And the unemployment insurance, or the employment services that were discussed earlier are available to you immediately, but the unemployment insurance itself cannot be filed until your separation date from your company. Thank you very much.